Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and there's many app updates that have happened over the past week or so. I thought we'd talk about it in the major app updates video for the end of January 2026 into February as well. Now, Apple had quite a few releases this past week, with Creator Studio that launched to everyone around the world at the same time, and it updates many different apps, everything from iWork apps to Final Cut Pro and more. If we scroll down here, you can see all of the new app icons, and there's no direct app, but there is a way to see them all at once. If you go to try for free, you can see Apple Creator Studio and all the different apps here. I'll link that in the description to make it a little easier to jump right to all the apps together. Now, one of the odd things they did with this update is if you have Final Cut Pro on the Mac, for example, you'll have an update for it within your App Store. But that is not the new Creator Studio app. You have to go to the separate app to install that. You can still purchase them separately, but that was just a bit odd as you had to sort of find the apps after updating the main app. So you can still continue to use the ones you've already purchased. You just won't have as many updates with the AI updates, for example. Also, Pixelmator Pro is part of that update, and it's finally available on iPad. It has this new icon here, and if we go into it, you'll see here's a very old thumbnail I had from iOS 14.5. I've been using Pixelmator Pro for years, and it's my go-to app for making thumbnails and everything else. So it's a one-to-one copy basically of what you have on Mac, but now you can use it on iPad with Apple Pencil, move your layers around and everything else. So this is a great app, and you can use it only if you subscribe to Creator Studio now. Also, one other thing I wanted to make you aware of is that you now have the option to use iWork apps. You can continue to use the old ones for free, but basically you'll need to install the new Creator apps. You can continue to use them for free, but with limited features. For example, if we go into the App Store here, if you search for iWork just in general, you'll be able to see Pages, Numbers, and then Keynote. And if we install one of these, you can still use the older apps, but they're still not the same thing, as it really encourages you to upgrade to the new ones. So give it just a moment here. If we go ahead and open it up, give it a second to load, you'll see it says, "Welcome to Pages." We'll tap Continue. And what's new is advanced image creation and editing, premium content and templates, which are actually paywalled. And then if we go into Continue, we can then use it. So if we go into Basic Photo, open up one of the things we've had before, you can create just like you did before, but it's not the same if you want templates and things like that. So you can continue to use this for free if you'd like, but there is a 3-month trial as well, even on older devices. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Freeform is also a new app that's included with Creator Studio. However, this is coming later this year with an update. So far, it's not available, but the good thing is with Creator Studio, you can share it with family and iCloud family sharing with up to 5 people. So if you pay for it once, especially with the student version, you'll be able to share that with your family and utilize it across multiple devices. So definitely something I would recommend if you haven't used it already. And while we don't have it yet, Apple confirmed in its Q1 earnings call yesterday that the upcoming Siri update powered by Gemini will in fact be separate and run on private cloud compute. So it's going to be a model designed specifically for Apple and then again run on private cloud compute. So if you use Gemini like I do, hopefully it will be built in and be just as good, but we'll have to wait and see once they announce that. Also, one other thing I wanted to make you aware of is if you're using Apple Music, maybe for the first time, there's a 3-month trial available again. So if you want to use it, you can now use it with a free trial, try it out for 3 months, and then purchase it if you want to use it. As far as other apps that have updates, well, the app itself hasn't been updated, but if we go into the Apple TV app, give it a second to load, there's a couple new things in here. The first thing is you'll see a new season coming for Ted Lasso this summer, so that's just a teaser of what's to come. And then if you continue to scroll down on the Home tab, you'll see that Apple has added a teaser for Watch Every Formula One Grand Prix on Apple TV. Get notified when it's available. So you can actually get notified from the app itself, putting your email address, and then it says take pole position for the 2026 Formula One season. So Apple has the exclusive rights in the United States for this, so you can watch it here. Again, that's only in the US though. If you're someone that doesn't really like the new iOS 26 camera app, we could be seeing an update in the near future. One of the co-founders of one of the best camera apps, Halide, has joined Apple. So you can see that in the App Store here. If we go to Halide Camera, Halide Mark II Pro Camera was one of the best designed camera apps that's on the App Store. So one of the co-founders has actually joined from the company directly to Apple's design team, and hopefully that means in the near future, maybe iOS 27 or later, we'll see a redesigned camera app or maybe a Pro camera app instead. When it comes to Google this week, there's a couple updates to talk about as well. The first thing has to do with Google Maps. If you use Google Maps, it's been updated to let you use Gemini when you're using it for walking or cycling directions, so you can ask it a question about maybe where you are, or just talk to it in general without ever leaving the navigation screen. There's also an update with Google where they introduced a new AI Plus plan that's cheaper than the AI Pro plan they previously offered as the only choice. You can see it on their website here where it says power your everyday with a Google AI plan, and if we scroll down, there's a new Plus option for $7.99 per month or $3.99 for the first 2 months. The plan features are pretty good. It's most of the features you would want, just not everything, with less storage and then less AI updates as well, or less AI credits. So there's a few less things here, but you can use most of the features and then of course change to the Pro plan if you want additional features as well. If you use Strava or Komoot, you can now use offline maps. So if you've wanted to use that feature, it's now available where they posted it on their subreddit. You'll see it says you can now see maps directly on your watch during a run, ride, or hike, including where you're headed and how to retrace your steps if needed. It says if you're a subscriber, you can also follow saved routes hands-free, even offline. So you can now view them offline if you want to use this, and this is a big upgrade if you've been using this app. While I am a gamer, I don't typically game on my iPad or iPhone, but I recently played through one of the games I've liked for many years, which I have on my iPad. So you'll see Monument Valley 3. I tried it when it came out to Netflix. It's since been removed from Netflix under their subscription, and it's a separate app. So I played through it. It's a really nice game with great sound. If you haven't played it already, I would at least try the first one or second one if you haven't tried those already. I play a few games from time to time on here, but I try different things. But if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Anthropic's Claude got updated this week, where it now allows you to use apps directly within Claude itself. So you can use apps such as Figma, Box, Canva, Slack, and others. You can see a demo of it on their YouTube channel, and it says your tools are now interactive in Claude. So it shows you how it works, and if you want a demo of it, I'll link it in the description so you can check it out. And if you're using Anthropic, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. In some news that's not as great, it has to do with creators using Patreon. Patreon is now forced to charge creators 30% of income to comply with Apple's App Store policy. This is something that has to be updated by November and really will affect creators if something doesn't change. So the good news is that they have until November to make this change, but Apple's pushed them to say you need to use in-app purchases, which inevitably lead up to 30% off of creators. So creators would have to pay that out of every $100, $30. That seems completely unfair for creators. So hopefully Apple offers some sort of workaround with this. When it comes to Meta apps this week, WhatsApp announced a new strict account settings option. This is for journalists and public-facing figures, and it's similar to Lockdown on iOS. You can see it on their blog post here, where it says, at WhatsApp, we think you should be able to have a private conversation online just like you would in person. It says, that's why today we're announcing a new Lockdown-style feature called strict account settings. If you turn it on, certain account settings will lock to the most restrictive settings, and it will limit how your WhatsApp works in some ways, like blocking attachments and media from people not in your contacts. So you can enable this within Settings, Privacy, and Advanced. So if you want to use that, it's now available. Meta this week also is saying that it's planning to test subscriptions within WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. According to TechCrunch, they've said that the core experiences will remain free, but it will start to offer paywalled special features. So I certainly don't want more subscriptions, but only time will tell if people would be willing to pay for those. What those features could be, we don't really know. Hopefully they don't put encryption and other things like that behind a paywall, but again, we'll have to wait and see what Meta does. Now, if you're in Japan or the EU or other locations where you can install third-party app stores, the Alt Store is said to be using CSAM scanning for recent explicit material to make sure that their apps don't contain any of that. One of the apps I use all the time for all of my notes is Craft. It looks great for notes. I use outlines for videos such as this video, and it had its first major update of 2026. You'll see it was released a day ago, and it's the first major release with many things from performance and reliability, document styles, and much, much more. So you'll see it has full notes going over everything new, and they continue to innovate and make this one of the best note-taking apps out there. So that's why I use it. I think it looks great, and of course it syncs between all of my devices. So it's something that I pay for myself. It's not an ad. It's just something I wanted to make you aware of. TikTok is now in the USA. It's now moved over, and that's something that they had to do to continue running in the USA. And it's moved over to the agreed partnership with Oracle hosting the platform and then also managing many other things. The initial change brought a lot of issues with TikTok, which most recently seem to be resolved. However, many have decided to remove the app due to the new privacy policies and many other things. So I'm curious if you'll keep using TikTok, if I should keep posting there, or if it's something that most people are abandoning. Now, if you use Photoshop, there was an update a few days ago with AI offering better output resolution. They also allow you to reference objects in generative fill now, and there's new non-destructive adjustment layers, and there are Firefly upgrades as well as dynamic text beta features. So if you're using Photoshop, make sure that you install that update if you use any of those features. And so that's everything over the past week or two as far as app updates. Of course, there's many others with games and more. And again, if you have any suggestions about games I should check out, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.